Hello, delegates of EFCER. My name is Pete Fowler. I am the team lead for your church health team, and it is the desire of the church health team that we see flourishing across all the churches of EFCER. We want to encourage and equip your churches in order that they can continue to grow into the communities that Jesus wants us to be. And this is true whether or not we maybe are coming alongside of a church that is recovering from significant challenges, or we come alongside of a church that is building on an already solid foundation to continue to grow. So today I want to focus on some revitalization stories. That's one of the things that we do as a church health team, is that we look to equip churches to be revitalized. And the first one that I want to share with you is a revitalization story of Trinity Friends Church in Lisbon, Ohio. Take a look.
Ron and Deb Robinson were serving here faithfully at Trinity Friends Church in Lisbon, and well, COVID had taken quite a toll on the church. Took a toll on all churches, but took one especially here. I knew we needed a leader. I knew we needed somebody who would be a catalyst to help bring a new day of revitalization for Trinity Friends. Just so happened he was on staff with us, been on staff with us for 17 years. I knew that Steve and Joanne were those kind of people that could make it happen here at Trinity. Through what I could only say was miracles of God that allowed for all of this to take place. And in those 9 months, we have been seeing God move in people's lives, with people becoming saved, knowing Christ as personal Lord and Savior, and growing in Him through their leadership. This church has turned around, and it's even been more than what we could even ask, think, or imagine that God is doing here. And I'm so glad that we're partners with them from Damascus to Lisbon to see it all take place.
Hi, my name's Steve Lowe, and this is my wife, Joanne, and we are the senior pastoral couple here at Trinity Friends Church. You know, it's been about a year ago now, and I was called into Pastor John Reiser's office together with Jesse Brunk. And it was asked of me if I would give consideration to be involved in revitalizing Trinity Friends Church. And so I would take that request back to Joanne, my wife, and we would commit to a season of prayer and lean into the Lord to determine what His will and calling was for us. And it wouldn't be long that confirmation would begin to come. So we said yes, and we got installed on August 6th. Ed Walsh with EFCER and the church health team in support through the revitalization program that they make available to churches of this kind of standing, stepped up and stepped in with us and joined together with Damascus Friends Church, who pledged themselves at that time to be a kind of a coaching status and to be supportive and give direction as needed. Since I have you in my heart, whether I am in chains or defending and confirming the gospel, all of you share in God's grace with me. The people here are quality people. They love God and they love one another, and they're battle-torn and battle-ready.
We've been going to Trinity for around 35 plus years, and we've had the fortunate blessing of seeing God's hand at work in so many different ways over the years. But recently, here in the last year, He's just provided so much fresh perspective. It's been very profound, very exciting to see the new faces, new people coming through the door, the new blessings, and also some faces we haven't seen over the years.
And the worship is amazing. More people means more power, and it's just amazing to be a part of that.
Sunday is the best day of the week. And be here at Trinity Friends with all of our church family and our friends to worship. It's the best thing. It renews us, it rejuvenates us, and it just makes you feel like you're coming home.
When we first came here, average weekly attendance ranged between 35 and 40 people weekly. And the giving was under probably about $1,500 a week. Since then, God has been blessing immensely. Our average weekly attendance now is right around 85 people. And our giving is meeting budget, which is near $3,000 a week.
And we're so grateful too for the various ministries that we've begun, and we have children's ministries, and we're just so thankful for the volunteers that have come up and served so beautifully, as well as now we'll be starting next week a ladies' Bible study, and we're thankful and grateful for those that are leading that as well. The people here are such a blessing, and we love them.
My heart's desire is that when it's all said and done, I will hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." If that is accomplished, then I'll know what fills in the blanks there would have been pleasing to him.
Hi, I'm Ed Walsh, Executive Director for Evangelical Friends Church, Eastern Region, and we were so excited when Damascus Friends proposed a strategic alliance between Trinity, DFC, and Eastern Region. The possibilities were immeasurable, and those possibilities are becoming reality. The church is being renewed, lives are being changed, and the gospel is going forth. Our hope and prayer is for church revitalization all across Eastern Region, where a movement of the Spirit comes with fresh wind and fresh fire, and people encounter the living Christ, and the name of Jesus is glorified.
Another revitalization story that we wanted to bring you up to speed on today is the story of North Star Church. So you may have heard the story, but we realize that many of you maybe have not heard the story. So we want to show you a video that was created a little while ago that tells the story of North Star Church and the revitalization process that has been happening there. So take a look.
The first day we opened back up, and I saw the people coming in, and realized that it wasn't just a few of us, we were going to be okay.
In August of 2020, it was a dire time here at Cornerstone Church. Within about a week, the lead pastor and associate pastor, as well as the entire board, had chose to resign over doctrinal differences with EFC-ER. That left a congregation of about 50-some folks, and we were all scratching our heads and wondering what the situation and the future held for this church.
At the time when the church was splitting, I was going to leave because of what was happening, and God told me to stay.
So did I think about quitting this church? I had a lot of pain. I did not want to come back. We came back because it opened and we had no church. I couldn't not take my children to church. I wasn't going to do that.
I started in December and we were still at the old building, and it was just so big. You know, everyone always dreams of being in a building like that, but for us, being around like 50 people, it just felt so empty. We could not fill this space.
We were so small when we came back. We didn't know who was going to walk through the door because we've been isolated through COVID and everything. But at the same time, when our eyes would connect, it was like, of course you're here. That doesn't surprise me at all. So there were just tears of joy, gratitude, relief, and finally knowing that Jesus could be the center.
So God's fingerprint and His miracle is just all over this project. One of the situations was they had a mortgage of $2.6 million, and here we have a congregation of 50-some folks. There was another church that was in a smaller facility that was growing, and they needed a larger facility. So Lake Erie Church of God approached us and asked if there would be a possibility of actually swapping facilities, which we were able to do.
It was just like such a smooth transition. And then we got the church. And it was just like, boom, 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 things just happened, and they were just wonderful. It's just one blessing after another to where you thought, I can't contain it anymore because it's so wonderful.
A name change was very important to be able to let people move past what had happened. North Star goes along with finding your way home. This is their home, and it's their journey that they've gone through and represented, and that Jesus is our North Star that helps us find our way home.
I'm excited to be on the coattails. I feel like Jesus said, here, hold these. The ride's gonna be wild, so hold on tight. And I didn't let go because this has been crazy. It's been the most amazing thing of my life.
Being a part of EFC-ER has given us a lot of stability. They've come alongside us financially, but also just being able to come alongside, guide and direct and give suggestions. And they came in and helped us establish a new mission and vision, which we were able to cast to the church.
As you can see, this church is now a thriving congregation. That base congregation has continued to increase in attendance and growing spiritually. It is so important for us to just see God's hand providing for us. He was faithful in the past. He did that for North Star, and He's going to continue to do that as He builds His church across the U.S. and around the world. So God is faithful, and we need to be obedient as we continue to partner with Him.
Now, since that video was originally released, Pastor Nick Chesness has been watching over continued revitalization and growth and expansion, and we asked him to just give a very short update on what has been happening at North Star since that original video came out. So, Nick, over to you.
Hey everyone, Church Health Team asked me to come on here and give you a quick update. There's two things that I wanted to update you on what's going on at North Star. First is we just finished up our worship series of How to Worship a King. It was based off of a book by Zach Neese. He went through the entire tabernacle and how God intentionally created each and every part of it to affect our worship and how to properly enter into His presence. As a result of this, it culminated with the question of, is God omnipresent or is He manifesting Himself? When He's omnipresent, we agree that He's everywhere. But for Him to manifest, for Him to move, His people have to be ready. So we've really had to start to ask this question of what do we as a church have to do to prepare our people to allow God and His Spirit to move through the church to best impact the community. Where we landed on that is a series from Pete Scazzaro called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality. Our director of discipleship, Amy, who's been excellent and instrumental at implementing this in our church, has taken about 30 to 35 people through this series. It starts with emotionally healthy spirituality, moves to emotionally healthy relationships, and that will culminate in a bunch of new grow groups happening here at North Star. It takes a look at our own mental health and our emotional health and how that partners with our spiritual health, and how we can only be as spiritually healthy as we are emotionally healthy and vice versa. It looks at a bunch of different characters and the impact that their families had and their relationships with God. But most importantly, it looks at silence. And what does our time with God really do for us? And so it's been awesome watching families walk through those doors, coming in having no idea who Jesus is, yet together they get to discover who He is and how He can change their lives. So by moving through the tabernacle into God's presence and allowing Him to move on a Sunday morning, to through the week teaching people what silence and reflection really looks like and building up their emotional and spiritual health together, we've seen God continue to move in ways that never seemed imaginable. So we are super excited to see what God has in store for us as He continues to manifest Himself through the congregation here at North Star. So we wanted to thank you and the denomination and everyone that has been praying, that has financially supported and spiritually supported us along this journey. God is just beginning, and we are excited to see what a determined God will continue to do here.
And there are so many other examples of continued growth and revitalization that are happening in churches all across EFCER. Some larger scale changes, some smaller scale changes, but we are so excited to celebrate all of them. Now, I can't tell you about too many more of them because Ed was very clear that this video needs to be only a certain number of minutes, but there's a lot to celebrate going on across Eastern region. The last thing I want to tell you about is that as a church health team, we have been working diligently on something that we call an evangelism and witnessing toolkit. It's a collection of resources that we want to make available to our local churches, because we want our churches not just to be healthy churches that are growing healthy disciples, but we want those churches to be what we call witnessing communities, to take seriously the Great Commission that Jesus has given to all of us. So this toolkit includes things used for evaluation purposes to kind of get an idea of where your church is at when it comes to witnessing and evangelism, and then tons and tons of equipping resources that you can match up with the evaluation resources that are built into the toolkit. We're really excited to share it with you. The idea being that we want our churches to be equipped and encouraged to live out that great commission in the spirit of the great commandment that Jesus has given to us. So be on the lookout for the toolkit, and if you have any questions about that, you can speak with me or anyone on our illustrious church health team.